नहीं येत आहे.
हाँ ओके ओके ऐसा अभी आ रही
हो सर येत आहे बट अटकत येत आहे आवाज.
that will be the problem of the atmosphere. Okay. Now, good morning everyone. Today I
गुड
am going
मॉर्निंग.
today I am going to deliver a lecture on the positive and negative crystals and Nicol prism. Both these topics are very important from the examination point of view. So many times the question has been asked on the both topics. Okay. And that's why they are important from the examination point of view. So today's my presentation includes distinction between the positive and negative crystals. Then after that we will study the definition of principal section or plane, and after that we will discuss about the uh, construction principle, construction and theory of the Nicol prism, and lastly I will discuss about the drawbacks of the Nicol prism. Okay. So out of that, the all the above three are very important from the examination point of view. So first of all, we see the positive and negative crystal. Previously, we have seen one type of crystal, that is the uniaxial crystal and biaxial crystal. So this is the another type of crystals based upon the velocities of the ordinary and extraordinary ray. Previously, we have defined, we have classified the crystals on the basis of the number of optic axes present in the crystal, and therefore they are the uniaxial crystal and the biaxial crystal. The crystal in which only one optic axis is there are called the uniaxial crystals, and the crystal in which there are the two optic axes in the crystal, they are called the biaxial crystal. So we have also seen the definition of optic axis. What is optic axis? So optic axis is an axis or is an direction in a crystal along which the ordinary and extraordinary ray travels with the same velocity. This is a direction in a crystal, imaginary direction in a crystal along which ordinary ray and extraordinary ray travels with the same velocity. Okay, so that classification is based upon the optics axis, number of optic axes present in the crystal. Now we will study the another classification of the crystals, and that is based upon the velocity of the ordinary and extraordinary ray. So there are the two types of the crystals. One is the positive crystal and another is the negative crystal. Okay. So what is meant by the positive crystal? So first of all, we'll see the positive crystal, and after that, we will study the we'll see the negative crystal. Now, the uniaxial crystal, positive crystal and negative crystal, both are the uniaxial crystal. They are only for the uniaxial crystal, in which the extraordinary ray, E ray, is in which the velocity of extraordinary ray is smaller than that of the ordinary ray. V is the velocity of extraordinary ray and VO is the velocity of ordinary ray. Then VE is less than the VO. Is called the positive crystal. Such crystal we call it as a positive crystal. That is a very simple definition. Extraordinary ray has the smaller velocity than that of the ordinary ray. The velocity of extraordinary ray is different in a different direction with maximum value along the optic axis. It has the extraordinary ray has the maximum velocity along the axis, optic axis, and minimum value in a direction perpendicular to the optic axis. and the velocity of ordinary ray is same in all directions. Only the velocity of extraordinary is different in different directions. But the velocity of ordinary ray is same in all directions. The positive crystal, therefore, the refractive index for the E ray, extraordinary ray, varies with minimum value along the optic axis and maximum value along the maximum value in a direction perpendicular to the optic axis. That is, mu E is greater than the mu O. Here mu E means refractive index. We have seen previously the one formula for the refractive index. What is the formula for the refractive index? The refractive index mu is equal to the velocity of light in the vacuum divided by velocity of light in the medium. Velocity of light in the medium, it is in the denominator. And therefore, velocity of extraordinary is small for the positive crystal, and therefore the refractive index for that will be the maximum. They are inversely proportional to each other, and therefore the refractive index for the E ray means or extraordinary ray varies with the minimum value along the optic axis and has the maximum value in a direction perpendicular to the optic axis. That is, mu E is greater than the mu O. Mu E is the refractive index for the extraordinary ray, and mu O is the refractive index for the ordinary ray, and therefore for positive crystal mu E is greater than the mu O. The wavefront for the ordinary ray lies outside the wavefront for the extraordinary ray. Now here in the figure, I have shown the positive crystal. So here there are the two surfaces. One is the O surface, O wavefront. O wavefront means ordinary ray wavefront, and this is the outer one. And this ordinary wavefront is the sphere. It is the spherical, and the wavefront for the extraordinary ray is the ellipse. It is the ellipse. Okay. And what is there? The wavefront for the O ray. Wavefront for the O ray lies outside the wavefront for the E ray. ये E ray का जो wavefront है, इससे ये बाहर है. Okay. So the examples of this positive crystal are the quartz, topaz, and aragonite. These are the examples of the positive crystals. Okay. So in the same manner, what we have written for the positive crystal, we will write in the same manner for the negative crystal. Okay. So this is about the positive crystal. And for the negative crystal, exactly a reverse situation is there. Now, for the negative crystal, we will define first the negative crystal. The negative crystal is the uniaxial crystal in which the velocity of extraordinary ray is greater than that for the ordinary ray. If suppose V is the velocity of extraordinary ray and Vo is the velocity of ordinary ray, then Ve is greater than Vo for the positive crystal, for the negative crystal. And the velocity of extraordinary ray is different in different directions. It will be always. So velocity of extraordinary ray is different in different directions with minimum value along the optic axis and the maximum value along in a direction perpendicular to the optic axis. There are always the two directions. One along the optic axis and another direction is perpendicular to the optic axis. The velocity of ordinary ray is same in all directions. That is was also in the previous case. The refractive index, therefore the refractive index will be for E ray varies with the maximum value along the optic axis and minimum value along a direction perpendicular to the optic axis. And suppose mu E is the refractive index for the extraordinary ray and mu O is the refractive index for the ordinary ray, then mu E is greater than mu O for the negative crystal. The wavefront for O rays, wavefront for the O rays lies inside the wavefront for E rays, as shown in the figure. Here you can see this is the negative crystal, and for this negative crystal, always remember that the wavefront for the ordinary ray is the spherical. So this is the spherical wavefront. ऑर्डिनरी रे का वेव फ्रंट कभी भी स्फेरिकल रहेगा एंड द वेव फ्रंट फॉर द एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रे इज द इलिप्स. So this is nothing but ellipsoid. Okay, so the wavefront for the ordinary ray lies inside the wavefront for the E rays. तो E rays ये है, E rays का wavefront ये outer है, इसके अंदर में wavefront for the ordinary rays है. ओके, और जो पॉजिटिव क्रिस्टल था उसमें ये एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट है. ऑर्डिनरी रे के सरफेस के अंदर वेवफ्रंट के अंदर में एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रे का वेवफ्रंट है. हाँ, ओके, इसमें अपोजिट रहेगा. यहाँ पे इनसाइड रहेगा तो यहाँ पे आउटसाइड रहेगा. आउटसाइड the ordinary wavefront is lies outside the wavefront for the extraordinary. And the examples of these negative crystals are calcite, tourmaline, and dolomite. These are the examples of the negative crystals. Okay. So sometimes the question can be asked on this positive and negative crystal, that distinguish between positive and negative crystal. If such type of question has been asked, then you can write this. You can write in the different points. Okay. So first point will be of the definition. Second point is about the this second sentence. Then third sentence नहीं लिखा तभी चलेगा. Then fourth sentence you can write here. Fourth point of difference is the refractive index for E ray, and fifth is the whether ordinary wavefront lies inside or outside, and sixth point will be the of the examples of the positive and negative crystal. Okay. So in this point wise you can give the definition of positive and negative, distinction between the positive and negative crystals. Now we will see the another definition, that is the principal section or principal plane. Principal section or principal plane. So here a plane which contains the optic axis. The plane which contains the optic axis and is perpendicular to the two opposite faces of the crystal. Two opposite faces of the crystal is called the principal section or principal plane. ऐसा ये प्लेन है जिस जो ऑप्टिक एक्सिस, जिस प्लेन में ऑप्टिक एक्सिस है, एंड that plane is perpendicular to the two opposite faces of the crystal is called the principal section. So I will make it clear after this slide. Okay. As the crystal has the 6 faces, there are the 6 faces, 4 side faces and top and bottom. These are the total 6 faces of the crystal. There are the 3 principal sections. there are three principal sections or there are three principal planes. A principal section cut the surface of the crystal into the parallelogram. Principal section cut the surface of the crystal into the parallelogram having angle 71 degree and 109 degree. So here in this slide I have shown the principal section by the ABCD, and this ABCD is the principal section of the crystal, and this principal section is having the two angles 71 degree and 109 degree. So total will be the 180 degree. 109 plus 71 we get a 180 degree. So this is the 180 degree. Okay. Now, so this definition is required for explaining the Nicol prism. That's how we have taken this. Okay. Sometimes the definition of the principal section can be asked in the examination. Then next topic is the very important topic, which is the Nicol prism. It is the Nicol prism. So many times the question has been asked on this Nicol prism. What is the Nicol prism? Then describe the principle, construction and the working of the Nicol prism. Such type of question can be asked in the examination. So first of all we see what is the Nicol prism. So Nicol prism is an optical device. What is the Nicol prism? Nicol prism is an optical device used to produce and analyze the plane polarized light. Nicol prism is an optical device used to produce and analyze the plane polarized light. The optical device is not actually a prism. Optical device is not actually the prism, but it is a parallelepiped. The shape of this is a parallelepiped. So it was first constructed by the William Nicol in 1828, and this Nicol prism is based on the phenomenon of double refraction in uniaxial crystal. So this Nicol prism is based upon the phenomenon of double refraction in uniaxial crystal. Okay. Then we will see what is the principle of the Nicol prism. So we know that when unpolar light is incident on the calcite crystal, what do? We will allow to incident on the unpolar light on the calcite crystal, then it split up into the two plane polarized rays, E ray, extraordinary ray, and O ray, ordinary ray, with vibrations in two mutually perpendicular planes, and these rays are having the vibration in two mutually perpendicular directions. So when unpolar light is allowed to incident on the calcite crystal, then we get the two refracted rays, E ray and O ray, and both these refracted rays are having the vibrations in mutually perpendicular direction. If by some means we eliminate one ray of light, then we obtain the one plane polarized light. कितने rays मिल रही है अपने को? कितने rays? We get the two rays of light, and out of these two rays of light, if one ray is eliminated by some means, then we get only one ray of light. And this one ray of light is nothing but the in this case we can say that the Nicol prism is used to produce the plane polarized light. Nicol prism is designed in such a way that the in such a way so as to eliminate the O ray by the total internal reflection. By this phenomenon, total internal reflection, the Nicol prism is uh, eliminated. Nicol prism is designed in such a way so as to eliminate the ordinary ray by the total internal reflection, and hence only E ray is transmitted through the Nicol prism, and the ordinary ray is blocked by the Nicol prism. Ordinary ray is blocked by the Nicol prism. Okay. So this is about the principle of the Nicol prism. What is happening here? When unpolar light is incident on the calcite crystal, then we split up into the two rays, and out of these two rays, E ray and O ray, one ray of light is eliminated, and therefore we get the only extraordinary ray is transmitted through the Nicol prism. Okay. Then we will study the construction of this Nicol prism. Construction of this Nicol prism. So Nicol prism is constructed by taking the long rhomb of calcite crystal. Long crystal लेना है, whose length AE, whose length AE, this is the AE, A and E, whose length is 3 times its breadth, 3 times its breadth AD. AD is this one, A, and this is the D. तो ये AD जो डिस्टेंस है ये कम रहेगा, और ये जो लेंथ है AE, इट इज द लॉन्गेस्ट, तो ये 3 टाइम्स रहेगा इसके ब्रेथ के. तो टू एंड फेसेस ऑफ द क्रिस्टल ABCD and EFGH. Here this is the ABCD and EFGH. These are the two end faces of the crystal are ground and polished. These two faces are to be ground and polished such that the angle A and angle C are reduced from 71 degree to 68 degree. 71 डिग्री से एंगल को रिड्यूस करना है to 68. Means here this angle is just 71 degree. A, B, C, D. This is the principal section or crystal, or then this is nothing but the angle which is made by the crystal, and that angle is the 71 degree, and this angle is the 109 degree. So this is the cut and polish. The crystal is then cut into the two parts. The two end faces of the crystal ABCD and EFGH of the crystal are ground and polish. इन दोनों फेसेस को क्या करना है? ये फेसेस को ग्राउंड करना है, इसको ग्राउंड करना है और पॉलिश करना है, इसको भी ग्राउंड करना है और पॉलिश करना है, so that this angle is reduced from 71 degree. ये जो एंगल था ये 71 डिग्री से रिड्यूस होके 68 डिग्री तक आ जाएगा. दिस एंगल इज रिड्यूस फ्रॉम 71 डिग्री टू 68 डिग्री, सो दैट इस टाइप से उसको कट करना है और पॉलिश करना है, ग्राइंड करना है और पॉलिश करना है. The crystal is then cut into the two parts along this B dash D dash. ये जो डायगोनल है, इस डायगोनल के डायरेक्शन में उसको कट करना है into the two parts, and then cemented together by a thin layer of Canada balsam. Canada balsam is the glue. It is the glue. And for what purpose we are using this glue? We are using this glue for cementing, for joining the two parts of the Nicol prism. So Nicol prism, the Canada balsam is a transparent substance whose refractive index lies between the refractive index for refractive indices of the crystal for O ray and E ray. Canada, what is the Canada balsam? Canada balsam is the transparent substance whose refractive index lies in between the refractive index for the calcite crystal for O ray and E ray. The refractive index of the crystal for O ray is 1.66. This is the refractive index for the O ray, and refractive index for the E ray is the 1.49. The refractive index for the Canada balsam is about 1.55. Okay. Now for the both rays, for longer faces B-C and A-D of the prism are blocked. Longer faces, this side, longer faces, and this side of the nickel prism is blackened. इसको क्या किया जाएगा? Blackened किया जाएगा, so that the ordinary ray is blocked by the blackened surface. Okay, so these two faces will block the ordinary ray. Okay, so here this is the long room of the crystal whose length AE is 3 times its breadth, that is AD, and when unpolar light is allowed to incident on the face AB dash, then this unpolar light is refracted into the two parts along this direction and along this direction. These two rays, two refracted rays, again pass through the Canada balsam layer, and after that the extraordinary ray is emerged out from the nickel prism, and the ordinary ray is blocked by the blackened surface. Okay. So ordinary ray is removed, only the extraordinary ray remains. It will pass through the nickel prism, and therefore we get the extraordinary rays. We get the extraordinary rays through this nickel prism, and therefore we can say that this is the unpolarized light. This is the unpolarized light, and when unpolarized light is incident on the nickel prism, then we get the plane polarized light, that is the E ray. So this is nothing but the projection of plane polarized light. Now, working of this nickel prism. When a ray of unpolarized light is incident on the AB dash, it's split up into the two rays. E ray and O ray, with vibrations perpendicular and parallel to the principal section of the nickel prism, respective, as shown in the figure. Now, the ordinary ray in passing from calcite crystal to Canada balsam travels from denser medium to the rarer medium. Denser medium is nothing but the calcite crystal, and whose refractive index 1.66, and refractive index for the ordinary is 1.66, and the another Canada balsam layer is there. This is the Canada balsam. So refractive index of this Canada balsam is the 1.55. Canada balsam is 1.55, and the rarer medium is there, that is the 1.49. It is the refractive index of the rarer refractive index of the another medium, and is reflected by the total internal reflection only when the angle of incidence of the Canada balsam is greater than the certain critical angle. The critical angle is given by sin of theta c is equal to mu b upon mu o, and it is equal to the 1.55 divided by 1.66. It gives 0.933. So these are the two rays, and these two rays of light will travel with the different direction, with a different velocity, in different direction with different velocity. Okay. So the calcite crystal is having the refractive index in different direction. So in this particular direction, refractive index of this is the mu o is equal to 1.66, and the refractive index for the extraordinary ray is 1.49, and in between these two there is a Canada balsam. It is the glue used for cementing the two pieces of the Nicol prism. Okay. So critical angle is given by, if this is the angle made by the incident ray of critical angle is the theta c, sin of theta c is equal to mu b upon mu o is equal to mu b is nothing but refractive index for the Canada balsam is the 1.55 divided by the refractive index for the ordinary ray is 1.66, and this will give the sin of theta c is equal to 0.933, and from this we can obtain the theta c. Okay. Then theta c is equal to sin of theta c is equal to sin inverse of 0.933. It is equal to 69 degree. 69 degree. So the angle of incidence of O ray is about 76 degree, and hence the O ray is reflected by total internal reflection and is absorbed inside the prism. The E ray is transmitted through the prism because at the Canada balsam it is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Rarer medium is having the refractive index 1.49, and the denser medium is having the refractive index mu b is equal to 1.55, and hence the Nicol prism. Hence, in the Nicol prism, ordinary ray is eliminated by the total internal reflection, and extraordinary ray is transmitted through the prism. Thus, the transmitted E ray is a plane polarized light. Thus, the Nicol prism can be used as a polarizer. So, therefore, we can say that the Nicol prism is used for obtaining the plane polarized light. So this is about the Nicol prism. So after this Nicol prism, we will discuss about what are the drawbacks of the Nicol prism. So the drawbacks of the Nicol prism are as follows. So first drawback of the Nicol prism is that for effective use of Nicol prism as a polarizer, the angle of incidence on the crystal angle of incidence for the Nicol prism on the angle of incidence of the crystal face should be about the 14 degree, so that the critical angle formed will be the 69 degree. And if the angle is 69 degree, then this ordinary ray is completely blocked by the total internal reflection. It will be reflected along the long faces of this Nicol prism, and which is blackened, therefore it will be absorbed. The second drawback of the Nicol prism is that the grinding and polishing the two end faces of the crystal is very costly. We have seen that we have to reduce the angle from 71 degree to 68 degree. And for that purpose, what we do, we will grind and polish the two end faces of the crystal. And this is the very cost. The third drawback of this nickel prism is that D-ray coming out from the nickel prism is not uniformly plane polarized. We do not get the uniformly plane polarized light from the nickel prism. Fourth drawback is that since the length of the calcite crystal used for the nickel prism is 3 times its breadth. We have seen previously this. So length of the nickel prism is 3 times its breadth, and hence such a large size crystal is not easily available. Then last drawback of this nickel prism is that the ultraviolet rays of light cannot be used as the incident rays of light for nickel prism because these rays are absorbed by the Canada balsam. Ultraviolet rays cannot be used as the incident rays of light for the nickel prism because these rays are absorbed by the Canada balsam, which is a glue, which is used to as cementing the two पार्ट्स ऑफ द निकल प्रिज्म. टू पार्ट्स को जोड़ने के लिए जो ग्लू अपन यूज कर रहे हैं कनाडा बाल्सम नाम का, उस ग्लू वो ग्लू क्या करेगा, अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज को एब्सॉर्ब कर लेगा एंड देयरफॉर वी डू नॉट गेट द emergent rays of light from the nickel prism. If we use the ultraviolet rays as the incident rays of light. So this is about all my today's presentation. So I will. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will stop this today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.